Catch my breath. That's fun. So let's take some deep breaths together and catch our breaths together. And if you've already caught yours, then you'll be ahead of us. So deep breath in, some noise on the way out. Yawns count. I'm teasing you. No one is safe. No, I'm teasing you. You're all safe. So take a deep breath in. Let it center you back in the room. Let it get in your body. Let it just excite you. Deep breath in. And on this last deep breath, I want you to breathe in gratitude and exhale gratitude. So deep breath in. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving? Cool. We're in that season. Season that reminds us how we want to live every day, just like we sing the song Peace Today. And I say in the prayer we come on Sundays to celebrate, but we really maybe come to get recharged or reminded or something to let us know that we want this every day. We want peace every day. The same thing with gratitude and giving away. As we come to the season and come to this last, actually, weekend of Thanksgiving. And we all know the stories that we've been told about the Pilgrims and the Indians, and so that was kind of true, sort of based on events that kind of sort of happened. It wasn't like one day where this group met that group and then they had a feast. But it did kind of happen to whereas the Pilgrims came to this land, it's something like Scott and I were talking about the other day. It's like Indians were just like chilling out, and they saw these new people come in, and then they saw them start dying in the winter. Like, oh, we didn't know you didn't know how to survive here. Here, let us show you. And then they showed them, and then they celebrated in that feast. We've all heard all kind of stories in between. But that's the basics of it. And there were good folk back then, and there are good folk now, and there are good folk that get along, and there are some folk that don't. And that's the way it was then, that's the way it is now. And that's the parts we have to just breathe into in our world and know that even as we are dealing with these things in our country right now, like Standing Rock, that there's always going to be something to be grateful for in it. There's always going to be a moment, even in drama and tragedy, to find gratitude. I had a very interesting Thanksgiving myself. I went up to see my daughter in Illinois for her birthday, and I decided to go the long way home and see my brother in Maryland for Thanksgiving. My other brother had just passed, and kind of wanted to connect with him and just hang out. Their tradition is they go to his brother-in-law's on Thanksgiving, and Christmas is at their house. So we were all doing the Duke and Anita thing. That's their names. And the players there, the aunts, one of the aunts, his name is Joyce, and is an older woman, born in, I think, 49, we determined, and suffers from epilepsy, and is kind of alone in her life. But she was expected there that Thursday at 1 o'clock and didn't show up. So we got there at about 2, and Duke is like, hey, have you heard from Aunt Joyce? Everybody's kind of worried. And we're waiting, and then people are starting to get worried. So we're in the D.C. metropolitan area. So D.C., Maryland, Virginia, they're all right by each other. But it may take an hour to get from one place to the other. So she lived in Arlington, Virginia. And after a while of them being nervous, they called the police to see if we can get a wellness check. And a dramatic afternoon of phone calls back and forth, we decided to drive up there. And the police met us there, and sure enough, she had fallen and had been in the bathroom since Sunday. So she was okay and is okay. And here's the gratitude of this moment. She knew that somebody would call on Thanksgiving, because she was expected to be someplace. So as we go throughout our lives, sometimes we're alone, we don't see each other every single day, but there's always going to, even in that 3 days of her experience, God bless her in it, because I can imagine, but there was a grateful moment, and it even came out of her mouth, I'm so grateful that it was Thanksgiving, because I know you guys would come get me. I know you'd miss me. I know you knew I wasn't right. So something that was even that sad turned out okay, and we ended the day grateful, not only for all the wonders that we had already celebrated, that Joyce was okay, and that nothing bad had really happened, and she had her own little Vision Quest in the bathtub for 3 days because she never got hurt. She just couldn't get out. Now, because of the laying in on there, they left her in the hospital to observe and make sure she can walk and stuff, but she's got other issues. But my point of this story is the gratitude even in something that seems dire. And in the giveaway of our day, we all got in the car and drove and stood outside of her hotel, condos, while they were dealing with all this. It didn't matter when we knew she was okay. We ate, we were together, and she was okay. So it ended up being a grand Thanksgiving, even better than it was the moment before, because she got some eye openers and she realized it's time for me to maybe get the button thing. She is, pushing 70 and has epilepsy and never wanted to do it in her pride. So all these things are positive things that came out of it. And there's a giveaway that happens in our lives when we never even realize those nuances I was talking about in meditation. To sacrifice your holiday and go check on someone to make sure they're okay. Or to smile at someone that you don't even know, that you have no idea what that smile did for them that day. How many stories have we heard about people who are on the cusp, just on the cusp of giving it all up because they felt too morose in their life. They had nothing, they thought, to be grateful for. And then some stranger just smiles at them out of nowhere. And it was just the slightest microcosm of love that they needed to keep them here, to keep them in their body, to keep them looking around and going, man, this truly is a beautiful world. It's wonderful, even amidst the stripes. And those are the things that we have to understand. It's part of the giveaway we do when we understand that this life comes with both. And we can be grateful for it all. Native American traditions of the giveaway started in a place where white people did not understand at all. There was a thing called a potlatch ceremony where every single year they would gather all they could give and give gifts to the neighboring tribes. And the white people observed this and were like, how could these people, who we know are dirt poor because we kind of created this scenario for them even more, be giving and giving and giving when they have dirt, literally, and then the next year, give even more. They banned the scenario, the ceremonies, because they didn't understand it, and they thought these people are just going to dig themselves a ditch. And they didn't understand that in the Native American philosophy, there's an understanding that at any given moment, the tides will turn and the tables will turn, and where I may be abundant one day and you may be scarce, that as I share with you and knowing that the tables of this time always turn, there may be a moment that I have scarcity in my life and you are abundant. And when we have this philosophy together, we are always abundant. And there's no mine in their language. There's no understanding of mine. There's an understanding of ours and we. And taking care of each other. Not only taking care of each other, but taking care of each other's kids. And not only their kids, but their unborn children as well. And then, meaning in generation and generation and generation of unborn children, all is part in taking care in this giveaway ceremony. It's an understanding that this is something that will never end because we know that it's a cycle and that we share in this cycle of gratitude, of receiving, and of giving. It's like I've always said I have a harder time receiving than giving. And that is true in my life. But I also have been teaching myself and understanding the gift I'm giving and receiving and how I'm besmirching a gift if I don't receive. Oh no, I'm not worthy. Whatever you want to bring it into with the old Wayne's World type stuff with the I'm not worthy. Play with it, right? But in that moment, I'm actually refusing their gift. I'm denying them the ability to give. I'm taking them out of the flow. What? I didn't think of it that way. What do you mean? I don't want to take someone out of the flow. Who am I to take you out of the flow? Well, say thank you and take the gift and go. And they'll be in the flow. And say thank you and be grateful. And if it's something that you're like, what the heck is this? I've never can use this. Thank you. and you put it up in a closet and sit it there. See, another lesson of this is that to honor the gift, whatever it is. This cup was made by somebody, was designed by somebody. I can put it on a shelf or never use it and dishonor it, or I can pay it forward and pass it to someone who will use it, and the gift gets honored. So even if I received a gift today that just wasn't my cup of tea or cup of coffee, then I can look at this and still be grateful because I know that the intention behind the giver was still of loving. It's still a giveaway. They might not have known me enough to know that I would have preferred a this instead of a that. But when I can receive all in my heart, then I'm going to know exactly who this is for when I get it. This isn't for me. Oh, well, thank you. I know who to give this to. And then somewhere along the line, it's going to come back to you in a different way. Somebody else is going to give somebody else the that. And you're going to, what am I supposed to do with that? Ah, Mark loves that. I'll give that to Mark. I'll take this. And we continue this flow. You know, the term of Indian giving when we were little kids was like, Indian giver, you took back the toy or something, is actual real thing, but it's a thing on purpose is saying if you are dishonoring this gift that I gave you, and you put it on a shelf, and it's collecting dust, and I happen to mosey back into your life one day and I see it, just collecting dust. I can get real mad about it, and I could judge you, and I could have all these things going on in my body. Or I can just go, hey, I know somebody who can use that. You mind if I give it to them since it's just on your shelf collecting dust? Don't be offended. Don't think I'll be offended that you didn't use it, as long as you let me pass it to someone else. I'm going to take this back, okay? And if you do it that cleanly, the person's going to understand it, and you're going to let them off the hook. Remember, we've already done the talk about trespasses, forgiving our trespasses, forgiving our debts, letting them off the hook. So there's nothing, no debt here, nothing trespassed against. You just simply say, I'm going to take this back and give it to Bob or Sally because they can really use this. Now, what that also does for you is it creates an empty space. Nothing can occupy that space before because that was there. And you didn't do anything with that. But the moment you did this and gave it away, you moved more than a cup. You moved molecules, you moved energy, you moved spirit, you moved your heart, you moved the universe, and you allowed something new to come into your life, or whomever's life. Even the person's life that you took it from, even if they were hemming and hawing, what do you mean? I love the cup. Why haven't you ever used it? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm taking it, man. It might sting a little bit. I love you. And you might grieve over this thing that they never used, but something's going to happen for them. So it doesn't always come with a warm, cushy feeling. And we have to be courageous enough to be able to take the gift back and pay it forward to somebody else. And explain it to our brother and sister so they understand, hey, you didn't do anything wrong. I thought it was for you. It obviously wasn't. Now we're going to make it so someone else can have it. That's part of the giveaway ceremony for the Native American peoples. That's part of all this, folklore we grew up as kids when we learned all these stories. So now think about non-tangible things, the things that are metaphysical. That's what metaphysics means, non-physical. Like I was lending to in meditation, when you give away a smile, not expecting anything in return. Man, I'm telling you, it's so simple. There's more simple things we can give away and recognize in our lives. I was actually inviting us to go simpler and simpler, more and more simple in our meditation. Go, what about a gentle breeze when you're just a little warm? I know how many times I've said, oh, thank goodness. Or that sun when you're just a little chilly and you step. It was like, here's the shade and I'm cold. Ooh, nice and cozy. Just two steps away. And we know that even in Florida when it gets cold, that when you step into this, it warms you up. To be grateful for such little things in life. To be grateful for somebody else's joy. Can you do that? Can you look at somebody else's life and see their wonder and be grateful in your body as if it were happening to you? Man, that is the ultimate gift that you can give somebody. Because that gets you so out of your crap And in this moment, blending with someone else, that it allows it for you. That's why jealousy and envy are considered bad. It's not a moral cause here. It's not a moral judgment. It inhibits you from feeling joy. So it's the greatest gift I can give to you is to celebrate you and your success and your wonders and your failures. I can give you a gift of saying, yeah, you really messed that up, didn't you? Instead of going, oh, no, you did it perfectly. Actually, no, you didn't. Practice makes progress. And if you keep practicing that, you're going to get better and better. But who am I to lie to you and take from you the truth instead of giving you the gift of truth? Now, I'm allowed to do it gently. I don't have to call you a bonehead for doing it. No, you just did that incorrectly for what you told me you wanted as an outcome. That's all we're talking about, the outcomes. All of these things can be gifts, to look at every single gesture that somebody has done for you. Man, the simplest things. Okay, I just came in last night and they borrowed my diffusers for the thing. Thank you, but for the thing, the aroma room. That's the brain fart I was having. So they were returning my diffusers, knew I'd be in there late at night, and Scott filled them up and turned them on. So when I came in, my house was all cozy and smelly and happy smells. You know what I mean? But I walked into a certain energy that was inviting to welcome me home at, gosh, it was about 1:32 in the morning when I finally got home. Little tiny gift, right? Man, what a ripple it caused. It doesn't have to be the grandest of gestures. Matter of fact, I suggest you take all the grand gestures and throw them away and go for the little tiny ones. You ever see that movie, The Wedding Singer, with Drew Barrymore and what's his face, Adam Sandler? And they're talking about, it's the little things that makes you know someone's in love with you, like when she kept getting her elbow hit in the aisle seat on the plane. He switched seats with her. Little tiny things in life is all it takes. And they grow and they grow and they grow and they grow and they grow, and you're like, wow, we truly are living as a gift when we let this ebb and flow of giveaway happen. So one of the ways to create on purpose a ceremony of that in your own personal lives is to take part in a giveaway ceremony, which is I've been trying to advertise for the last few weeks about, if you're going to come today, to bring something with you that means something to you spiritually, passionately, inspirationally, that you want to pay forward, that may sting a little when you give it away. It's not supposed to kill you, but it is supposed to perhaps sting a little. Doesn't have to, but it's got to be something that meant something to you. For me, it's not the coffee, I'm keeping that. I'm getting my coffee. This is made by J.W. Stannard. They call it an energy chime. This is the first spiritual tool I ever bought myself, outside of a crystal. It's the first thing I bought. It was that right there in Cocoa Village, that metaphysical shop that was upstairs. I forget the name of it.
Three Mystics.
Thank you. Thank you.
I heard that.
Gabadosta, dickhead for those non-Italian speaking. For this, I've heard this sound for 25, 30 years. This particular one, because even if they make another one, I'm telling you, just because of what I know of frequency and sound, you can't get that exact same sound, because there's no way that this metal was exactly the same. I was a machinist too. Exactly the same dimensions as the other bars that came out that day. So even though they may sound alike, they're all going to have a nuance that is different. But this sound has been my friend for going on 30 years. I'm going to miss it. But I know the magic it's created for me in my life. And I want someone else to have that magic, so that this sound can go on for them, along with other things that they have. And I know I'm going to be buying a new one, and a different one, and it's going to have a different little sound, but it's going to create magic for me. So this is the thing that I'm bringing to the table today as a giveaway, so that somebody else can bring that in their lives. So if you brought something today, this is what I'm inviting us all to do. We want to know the story of your item. If you didn't bring anything today and you still want to take part in this ceremony, I have a box of giveaways. There's all kinds of stuff in there. Crystals, geodes, rocks, stone people, there's a little dream catcher, there's a shell. Can't have the box, because that's my daughter, Rose. My brother made that for me, so the box is staying. But for those of you who didn't bring something, I still want you to be able to go home with something. For those of us who knew about the ceremony, this is what I'm inviting us to do, is to come up here. The mic will be over here and I'll lower it. Just simply show us your item, tell us the story of it, put it on the table, and then when all the table is full up, we'll do the receiving part of it. No set order, alphabetical, by age,
I go first before
by
I
soul age, not chronological human age.
I would have thought.
You know,
My name's Ruben, and Angie and I, we just got married last week.
Yay!
So these are two gifts because there's two people, and they kind of go together. So when we were on the airplane, they knew that we were getting married, so they made a big deal. It's like, hey, congratulations, they got married, hey, give them a round of applause. We also love coffee, so we have lots of coffee mugs, and we have our certain ones that we kept in the back that are kind of special. So they kind of go together, so you'll see what they're. I can't do things that one. Now I see how Mark lets it go like that. So the first one is on the airplane. They honored us with a bottle of champagne. And the other one is because we have coffee. Dude, it's funny that you were mentioning coffee cups. This is cups.
That was pretty.
That's it.
So I'm not gonna come in here between, so just everybody go on your own.
Well, this does sting a little. This is a scarf, and it might be from Mexico, I'm not sure. My mother and my stepdad lived in Mexico for a while. He was a geologist working down there. And this would be late 50s, maybe early 60s. And my mom was so pretty, so petite. She always wore these really neat clothes. And she would wear, back then women used to wear scarves all the time. And I remember her having this over curlers, and I remember her just having this over her hair, and it's double, it's reversible. And
Well, the
for the
yellow.
longest time it smelled like her. It doesn't much anymore. But I have great memories. My mother didn't bring me up. But she used to come and visit me a lot. Her parents in Kansas had a farm, and they raised me from ages 5 to 17. And she'd come and visit, and I remember her always wearing this. And she passed away about 13 years ago. This was in her dresser drawer, and I kept it. This is really pretty. This is a book that I read at a very trying time in my life. I didn't read it, I did it. This is a book you do. It's Julia Cameron that wrote The Artist's Way. And I had never done The Artist's Way, but it's called The Right to Write. And at the time when I don't even remember how I actually came across this book, but I was going through a divorce. I was digging myself into a financial hole, sort of knowingly, hoping that I was going to be able to get out some way, which I did, obviously. And it was just a very trying time in my life. And this book, when I did this book and I sat down and I did it, it made an enormous
huge, huge difference in my life. And I love it. And it was funny because I don't write so much anymore. I write a lot of work, but just creative writing, I don't write so much anymore. And I was like, oh, I don't have time. And this morning, I was getting this out, I was going, is this the thing? Is this the thing? I've been thinking about this for 3 weeks, right? Is this the thing? And I opened it up and it said, the thing that I glanced at was, if you want to make time to write, you start with a word, or you start with a paragraph. To think about writing a big story or something is overwhelming, but if you just start with a sentence, and it's a start. And in the end, what you write is made up of words and sentences and paragraphs. And so I'm like, thank you.
I'm slow, so.
You're all right. We're not going
Adjust the
anywhere.
mic while you're-
I have to admit, this is not a spiritual gift per se, such as a crystal or a sacred object, but this still stung. This was bought for me when I was going through a health challenge with melanoma, and it's a cool bar. And it's an expensive, black, very cool shirt. And I've kept it, and I never put it on. So I said, well, I should keep this, get it under garage, do it garage. I said, no. I wanted to bring this to give it away for someone that might need it or like it. Still stung a little, but I'm so grateful that I don't have that health challenge, and I hope that this gift is taken by someone that could use it. By the way, it may look worn, but it's not, because I have fur babies and we've moved, so it's never been worn, and it hasn't been worn for like 8 years. So I said, okay, this is the one.
Thank you.
So, about 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, probably 25 years ago, I was sober about 5 years, and I was having a major crisis of spirituality. And I dropped at that point all of the Christian belief system that I had acquired over the previous 5 years and went on my search. And in Bushnell, I met a man named Buffalo. He's since passed away. He was a Creek medicine person. And after he admonished me for touching stuff in his house that was put in a sacred space, and asked me if I knew anything about anything at all, he made this bag for me while we sat and talked. And then filled it with sacred objects. It's empty. It's been at Sweat Lodge many times, and it's been on my altar for probably the last 4 or 5 years. Most definitely a usable tool, but yeah, however you want to play with it.
I'm familiar with microphones.
I know.
This was given to me by a very dear friend, and she said, this is because you are the wind beneath my wings. And to me, I was not. She was the wind beneath my wings, because she's the one that helped me fulfill a dream of 40 years of playing the guitar so that I could sing and play. And ended up that she and her husband lived with me for 6.5 years. We were 3/4 of a quartet. And we made our own family. They were both only children. And so she gave me this, and it's holds little trinkets. Used to hold guitar picks, but I got so many now they don't fit in here anymore. And so it's pretty. And it looks like Christmas, so I thought I would bring this.
May I comment that
Yes.
today is my best friend's birthday, and that's my song to her, and she's a musician. She hasn't picked up her guitar in years. She's a caregiver for her mother, but I gave her a flute, and she just played it. And when you said the wind beneath my,
We get what we need, don't we?
oh yes, we do.
That's wonderful.
So I'm gonna get not made. That will be a sorry.
Fantastic.
You're fine.
That's great, that's good.
That's
We're family, we
thinking.
don't, we're
Yeah.
not formal around
That's
here.
right.
Informal here.
Oh, wow. That's all I can say.
Well, because I was telling Becky earlier, I said, I thought I'm gonna give it, no, I'm not. Gonna give it, no, I'm not. Becky said, you were right, you gave it.
Yep.
Thanks for letting me know that.
You're welcome.
All right, well, I actually forgot about the giveaway today, but I wore this necklace that my mom made, and it's carnelian, and it has a crystal. She does beautiful jewelry. She has a site on Etsy, and it reminds me of someone's heart, and you can almost see the veins, so, and it sits on your heart, so. I'm giving this away, and it hurts a little bit because it's special. I miss my mom because she lives in Maryland. Some of you met her when she was down, but I'm giving this away today.
Get out of the box, can you? Get to pick something up. It's sticky up. It's sticky up.
Sticky out there, not the other, I can't get the away. I did have something and totally forgot it. We've been creating a room for EF, so it's been crazy. But I found something as I was cleaning and getting prepared, and I left it. And I got here and went, so I have this beautiful stone, stone people, and I love rocks, and they are stone people, and have always brought me great joy. And we would go to the mountains, and I'd always bring a hammer, and I would be tapping on rocks, find that perfect geode. A lot of people didn't understand it, but we did it anyway, so.
Well, like Tammy, I had this wonderful thing all picked out. I was going to bring a crystal that my friend Harry Moss, who has since passed, brought me from Key West back in 1988. But I forgot it, and I got here, and I sat down next to Scott, and I went, I forgot my giveaway, and he gave me this. So while everyone was talking, I put all the love and beauty and special feelings I was feeling when everybody talked into this. So when you take it, it will have gratitude, it will have love, and it will have generosity, and so anytime that you're sad or feeling like you don't have anything, you can just look at it and know it's full of wonderful gifts.
Anybody else want to go?
I think we're gonna be good.
Everybody go.
So, yeah, it's always getting choked up. So just listening to the gifts and the stories that were told about them. Inanimate objects, remember we've been doing a talk, none of this has any meaning. Right? We give it all the meaning, and how'd the meaning land on you? Simple things here, given from heart, and just to lend to something else that Margie just said, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say there's a lot of 5-year-old energy in that piece too. Which is what, just sends it home. So now I would like us to do the harder part, and that's receiving it. And receive one of these gifts. You're doing an energy trade here. And that's why I brought these, so you can still receive a gift. And not walk away with nothing because you didn't remember something. Just take something. So, in no order, although I'd like to honor you as our guest and let you go first.
No, I got it. Push on your leg.
And if you want to say a little bit of why you're choosing this, what it did to you, why you're grabbing it. So we could all have snot. Not just me. Oh, you do, yay.
Okay.
Let's go, let's go.
And oddly enough, not only is it her birthday, but she loves little boxes. Everywhere I went, I would get Beverly a little box. She's one of the most humble, giving persons I've ever met. And so when I explained this to her and what it meant, so she gets her little box with an angel. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that's the magic word, everybody. And I know everyone's grateful, but to say it out loud on purpose, which innately comes out of this, is to send it home with those words.
I have always wanted one of these, and have never had one. I'll think of you every time I use it, Mark. Love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
I picked this because I'm a preschool teacher, actually 2-year-old toddlers, and sometimes I need something with me to carry a stone that has a certain healing energy or to keep me in balance while I'm working with these kids. So, and Scott has a lot of healing energy and he works very well with children. So that's why I'm taking this today. And thank you. Thank you. It'll go with me to work. Awesome.
So I'm taking this.
What?
And I
You
knew
knew
it.
I was gonna take
You
this.
know I
So
did,
did I.
I did.
Because I don't drink. And I've been sober 30 years this year, 31 coming up in February. And I just think it would be a really groovy symbol to just sit there and have, hanging out, just remind me that one day at a time we're sober.
Gratitude,
Yeah.
but you don't have to open it.
Oh.
I'm taking this beautiful necklace because I feel a great connection to Randy. And I will wear this here a lot so that you're next to it as much as possible.
Oh, thank
I know, it's giving away something from your mom. I know there was a sting attached to that, and I'll wear it here so you can visit it, okay?
Thank you. I'm so glad that you have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I picked this because I am full of gratitude. I have a dear friend who's moving, and she's taught me so much. And I can look at this and know the gratitude and the gift she brought me. And I can go on my altar. And my kid likes it.
In college, I was a writer, and the professors that I had said you should write. So I've always had a lot to write, but I've always had just like this entire story, and it's like, okay, where do I start?
Yeah.
And so this has been something that's always been inside of me. I've never let out. And this book says, read. So this is for me now, Angie.
I would like to accept this beautiful scarf. I love color, as you can see, but it just called to me, and as soon as you said Mexico, Ruben is Mexican, and so it really hit home that this is what I need to have with me. So thank you.
Thank you, Angie.
I wanna hear some reading.
So right.
Writing, I wanna hear it, yeah.
We have opportunities around here for that.
I like coffee. I like coffee cups. I have a whole cabinet full of all kind of random coffee cups, and I always like different ones, so this is groovy to me. And I get to drink it with knowing where it came from.
Right.
See, I'm also like, I have a Rain Man filing system, and I remember like everything and dates and stuff, but I remember good stuff too. So this goes in the goods page on the left. It's left and right, just so you know. Good stuff on the left. So, thank you.
I knew you were gonna get that when you were saying.
It looks like silk.
It's very soft. It's perfect for Florida. I like it. It's got a good,
She gets cold a lot.
and I get cold a lot, like right now, my hands are freezing.
And it's great on the beach.
Thank you.
Well, I've never worn that
Thank
one,
you.
so it looks nice. You're welcome. I'm so glad you got it.
Now, like I said, these here, if you didn't bring anything and you want to, please take something. It's, they're just, there's organite, there's rose quartz, there's clear quartz, there's amber, a little dream catcher, earthstone. Is that jasper?
Yeah.
That might be the jasper I was
Ocean
told to carry
jasper,
with
no?
me.
Ocean, yeah.
Ocean
So
jasper.
there's, I don't know if you've ever heard of organite, there's little mini crystals, there's turquoise button. Organite is,
Yeah, that's very
okay,
powerful.
yeah, it's cool stuff. So feel free, and even if you want extra, meaning, like, you've already grabbed something, receive more. So, in closing, how'd that feel?
Good.
Simple things, right?
Yeah.
Very sweet.
And I get choked up with the stories that you guys shared. Thank you for such a wonderful, small community here, right? Can you see the magic we created? Can you feel it? Can you feel it's bigger than this room? Because I felt it, and I know I'm a big mush anyway, but that's a good thing. Again, that means I'm being moved. That means Spirit is moving in me in that moment, and I'm feeling joy, and it's just coming out in the form of moisture. But it's clear crystal tears that are sweet and effervescent. And it's I long for them. I want more and more and more of them in my life. I don't care if I was crying 24/7 if it was those. Because that means I'd be energized and smiled and just feeling the moment of gratitude. I'm so grateful to share this day with you. Because we created something here. It's kind of like when Scott and I say when we do a workshop that no workshop is alike, and Margie too. Because the people that are in front of us had never been in front of us before on that day in that event. Well, same thing with here today. We do a lot of Sunday services and we have a blast in all of them. But never have we had this group of people together celebrating in this way, and it's special, and I hope this specialness lasts with you and you truly remember the feeling of this morning and what you got from each other, and in the stories of the things that you're going to be carrying with you. And if there's a moment in your life where something inside of you realizes or calls to you and says it's time to give it away, and then do so you can open up for more magic in your life. Thank you again, and so it is.